So, today we're diving into a story that honestly starts out like your classic true crime case, but then takes a hard left turn into something else. It's this really modern mystery that just completely blurs the line between a police investigation and some seriously chilling folklore. And it all kicks off with one single terrifying phone call.
We're cold, Mom. Just let that sink in for a second. These were the last words a 911 dispatcher heard from a child's voice before the line just exploded into chaos and then silence. This one haunting phrase is what kicks off one of the most bizarre and frankly unsettling investigations in recent memory. All right, so to really get a handle on just how strange this whole thing gets, we have to go right back to the beginning, to the hard facts of the incident, as the investigators first saw them. The entire 911 call, and this is the only piece of audio evidence they had from the scene, lasted exactly 50 seconds. That's it. In less than a minute, whatever happened was over, the line went dead, and the dispatcher was left with, well, nothing but questions. Now, during that tiny 50-second window, 6 distinct gunshots were heard on the line. And on the surface, you'd think, okay, that paints a pretty clear picture of a violent, tragic event. But when investigators actually started digging into the evidence, they realized that nothing about this case was clear at all.
And right away, we hit our first major snag. The official police report said that all 6 bullets were found just harmlessly lodged in the ceiling. Okay, but then a forensic leak later claimed something totally different, that only 4 bullets were recovered from the ceiling. The other 2, they were just gone. So right from the jump, the evidence itself was telling 2 completely different stories. So when the police arrived on scene, they found pretty much nothing. No bodies, no signs of a struggle, just an empty house. The mother, Cara, and her 2 daughters, Amelia and Eve, were gone. A couple of neighbors claimed they might have seen the girls leaving in a truck, but nobody else could back that up. It was just a scene of total confusion. And then, investigators found the one piece of evidence that was left behind. And it wasn't a weapon, it wasn't a fingerprint. It was this cryptic message that would take this case from a standard disappearance into something far, far stranger. Etched very carefully above the fireplace was this riddle. I mean, can you imagine being a detective at a potential crime scene and finding this? It's so poetic, so cryptic, and so deeply out of place. And this wasn't just some random graffiti either. The forensic analysts said it was carved with a kind of precision that suggested whoever did it knew the house really well. Below the riddle was a signature for the flower girl with 2 flower eyes, which investigators quickly gave a code name Crazy Daisy. Now, this wasn't a name in any police database or some known alias. No, it was a moniker born directly from the evidence. A name for the ghost at the absolute center of this mystery. For 2 weeks, the case went completely cold. No family found, no new leads. It honestly seemed like it was just going to become another unsolved file. But then, the riddle appeared again, in a different house, in a completely different town. This was no longer an isolated incident. And you can see the escalation so clearly on this timeline. It starts with that initial incident, the disappearance. Just 2 weeks later, the riddle pops up again. And now, today, reports are coming in from multiple locations. This whole phenomenon isn't just repeating itself, it's actively spreading. You know, what's truly unsettling is the consistency in all these new reports. People who find the riddle, they describe the exact same thing. A shadow figure with these hollow, flower-shaped eyes that moves like it's flowing, not walking. Witnesses also report the faint smell of wilted petals and the sound of a child giggling right before it appears. A terrifyingly specific profile was starting to come together. And a clear pattern started to emerge, a kind of method of operation. It all begins with the trigger. The riddle is found or, crucially, read aloud. That's followed by the warning. You hear faint giggling in empty rooms. And finally, the appearance. The shadow figure itself shows up. It's systematic, it's predictable, which somehow makes it feel all the more inescapable. But then, a new line started appearing at the end of the riddle. Crazy Daisy is the first to arrive. Now you should worry about the other 49. This completely changes the stakes. It's suggesting that Crazy Daisy isn't acting alone. She's just number 1 of 50. Okay, so this new information basically recontextualizes everything we thought we knew. It suggests that Crazy Daisy, as terrifying as she is, might just be a pawn in a much bigger, much more intelligent game. First, you have to wrap your head around this terrifying implication. This entity isn't like a traditional ghost that's tied to one physical place. It works more like a virus of the mind, an idea that spreads through information. It appears wherever the riddle is read. And that gives it a potentially limitless reach. And then came the biggest twist of all. An anonymous source who was deep into investigating this whole phenomenon claimed that Crazy Daisy isn't the source of the evil at all. She is a creation, a product of something or someone who they only referred to as the Whistling Man. And according to this source, her purpose isn't just to scare people. As the quote says, she comes for attention, she comes for belief. And as if to confirm all this, right after the source made that statement, a faint, deliberate whistle was captured on the audio recording. It's just this chilling sign that this whistling man isn't just some theory. He's listening, he's aware, and he's signaling that the game is on. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? We started with a missing family and a weird riddle, and we've somehow ended up here with a supernatural entity that spreads like a story. But if Crazy Daisy is just the first piece on the board, then the real mystery is the one on this slide. Who is the Whistling Man, and what in the world are the other 49?